you've said in the past that the head of a place such as Imperial College should be involved in other spheres of public life, and certainly you seem to be no exception. I note, for instance, that you were on the Royal Commission for Environmental Pollution and also a member of the Society for Clean Air. How deep is your concern for the environment in which we live?
It is very deep. The problem, of course, is not that one should care for the environment by itself. If one's only concern was to preserve the environment, one would not be able to do anything, because all activity, in some way or other, affects the environment. Likewise, one cannot consider only industrial progress, only the making of money, with no concern for the environment, because if you do, you may become wealthier, but the environment in which you live, what you enjoy in life, deteriorates. So what we have to do is to try to strike a reasonable balance between wealth creation in all its forms and the preservation of human values, of which environment is one important part. And I have devoted 6 years as chairman of the Royal Commission that you mentioned, and a little while as president of the National Society for Clean Air, to trying to define that balance a little better.
The MSc in Environmental Technology was established in 1977, under the newly formed Centre for Environmental Technology, by Lord Brian Flowers, who was rector of Imperial, and Professor Gordon Conway, the first director of the MSc.
I came to the college in 1970. I was in the Department of Zoology and Applied Entomology under Professor Sir Richard Southwood, and we were stationed at the field station at Silwood Park, and were regarded, I think, as country bumpkins. But that changed when Brian arrived. Brian famously said about the college, Imperial College is a very good institution, but not as good as it thinks it is. He wanted to make it better, and in Hannah Gay's words, his persistent prodding moved the college to modernise in a number of fronts. I think the word prodding is exactly right there. Brian arrived at Imperial a year after the 1972 Stockholm Conference on the Human Environment. He was convinced that environmental issues, in particular climate change, were not transient challenges. And it's important to recognise that he was quite clear in his own mind that climate change was coming and we were causing it. This is in the early 1970s. The world needed, he believed, a sustainable pathway for the years ahead. In 1973, he became chair of the Royal Commission on Environmental Pollution, as we've heard. And during his tenure, he oversaw 3 reports on general pollution issues. And then, perhaps the most influential of the reports, the 1976 report on nuclear power and the environment. And here the Commission recommended that there should be a delay in the proposed development of the fast breeder reactor until the problems of handling the extremely dangerous plutonium byproducts have been solved. But in some senses, perhaps what was more important about this report is that he played a key role in opening up the UK's nuclear power programme to more public debate and scrutiny. His experience on the Commission convinced him there was a role for Imperial College in educating a new generation of students about the environment. He was convinced it should be at postgraduate level, building on students' undergraduate specialisations, and it should focus on finding solutions to problems. Sir Richard Southwood was highly supportive, as was Professor John Sutton, and the new Centre for Environmental Technology was created in 1976 with an MSc of the same name, and in the first year it attracted 22 students. Brian was very engaged. He even found time to give lectures. And of course they were impeccably crafted, clear and well balanced. Brian said to me he thought if it lasted for 5 years, this centre, it would have done a good job. He was famous for his challenges. The course still runs 34 years later with 150 students each year, and I'm pleased to say I'm back on the staff.
The centre was the first of many interdisciplinary centres within Imperial to cross traditional boundaries between departments, aiming to produce the highest quality research, teaching and advice on environmental matters. While Imperial College is renowned for its scientific and technological activities, the centre was established to combine these with the legal, medical, economic and sociological aspects of the environment, with particular emphasis on cross-linkages between the disciplines. The administrative and teaching centre was located at 48 Prince's Gardens, but later it outgrew these premises and moved to the RSM building. Over 120 students applied for the new MSc course and 24 were accepted in the first year. 14 students were given funding. 8 areas of specialization were identified, though only 4 options were offered at the start.
I am a scientist. I've been a scientist really closely involved in the development of policy. I firmly believe that that science and engineering, if anything, is going to provide potential solutions. It needs political will, it needs investment, but a necessary, if not sufficient, condition of addressing these problems is to have some form as sensible investment in science and technology.
In 1994, a committee chaired by Sir John Mason recommended the founding of a graduate school of the environment to coordinate teaching and research in this field college-wide. At the time, the environment was high on the agendas of both government and industry, and Imperial was seeking to position itself as a national and international centre of expertise across all aspects of environmental work. The mid-1990s was a high point for this department. A later experiment was the creation of the T.H. Huxley School for the Environment, Earth Sciences and Engineering by Ronald Oxborough in 1997. He appointed John Beddington as director. This was to subsume the work of the Graduate School of the Environment and was an attempt by Oxborough to further rationalize the many course offerings and research units in the environmental area. He had a new taxonomic vision with respect to the grouping of the associated disciplines, one which was perhaps a little before its time. When Y College merged with Imperial, many of its staff were also placed within the Huxley School. The already existing fissures and financial anxieties became yet more pronounced. Beddington attempted to turn things around, but when Sykes introduced the faculty system, he decided to end the experiment and close down the Huxley School. He arranged for the Department of Environmental Science and Technology, and those working at Y, to form separate units within the new Faculty of Life Sciences. In 2005, the Faculty of Life Sciences followed the example of the Faculty of Medicine and created divisions. The Department of Environmental Science and Technology and the Department of Agricultural Sciences were closed to form the Centre for Environmental Policy. In many respects, the centre has come full circle and is not unlike its leaner, younger self of the 70s. All these years, the course has remained true to its mission, sustaining its success and developing to remain one of the leading courses in the world in the environmental field.